What? No manga? For those of you who didn't see last week's blog, this week I'm going to be doing kind of like an award show for my favorite graphic novels. And yes, I'm not doing any manga or any like Far Side or anything like that. I'm doing kind of graphic novels in a traditional sense of kind of a European, North American style. To start off with, I am going to give out my award, I think it's like an award show, to my favorite graphic novel for traditional superheroes. And this was probably the most hotly contested category. I could have given this to a lot of different people. I could have given it to Dark Knight Returns or Batman Year One or tons of things, but I decided to give it to this one right here. Alan Moore's Batman the Killing Joke. This is probably the most popular Joker origin story. Really changes the life of one of the Batman characters. Joker does something to somebody who really changes their life. Great dynamics between the Joker and Batman as they kind of discuss their relationship and where it's all going. Very short, but very good, and definitely my favorite traditional superhero graphic novel. For non-traditional superhero graphic novel, I am sticking with the Alan Moore theme, and I am going Watchmen. For those of you maybe who haven't seen the movie or read it, it's kind of an alternate history as if there were superheroes and how that would affect the Cold War and everything. I mean, this graphic novel has pretty much everything you're going to want to find in a graphic novel with the writing, the art, the story, everything all put together. It is definitely by far my favorite non-traditional superhero graphic novel. At any rate, next award goes to this category is favorite event. For those of you who are familiar with comic books and graphic novels, lots of events happen. Traditionally, they're done in the summer. In the DC universe, you have the Crisis on Infinite Earths or Green Lantern Reborn, these sort of big events. Blackest Night, you have Infinity Gauntlet or Fear Itself or the Onslaught, Age of Apocalypse, all these things in the Marvel universe. My favorite one is a Marvel one, and it is this one right here, the Marvel Civil War. Done, I believe, in the late 2000s, maybe the mid 2000s. Really dives into the fact that superheroes are kind of not official government employees. They kind of do their own thing and they can be a little bit unpredictable. And the government wanted to kind of employ them. And you have these opposing forces. You can see right on the cover. Captain America kind of faces off against Iron Man. And kind of the who's going to, what side are you taking in this big fight. Really well done. Really interesting. The one thing that Marvel always has done well is they tie in their comic books in with the world in which we live in. So it gives us kind of a feeling that it's something that could actually happen to us, and government control and all those sort of things are always something that we're looking at. So again, award for the best event in comic books. My next one is kind of like the spoilers there, may have saw that one. Is kind of like the unsung hero, or the maybe you've never heard of this one before, but I highly recommend that you try it. And that award goes to Marvel 1602 by the incomparable Neil Gaiman. It's really cool. I'm just going to give you a quick look on the back because the artwork is awesome. It has very much a feeling of pictures of that time period, and essentially what happens is the Marvel characters are transported into this world. So Nick Fury works for the Queen of England, and Magneto is involved in the Spanish Inquisition. And it's kind of, what would they be like? I mean, you could see how someone with superpowers would be very easily interpreted as being a witch, for example, and kind of why they're there, what they're like, how they all kind of fit into it. Very interesting, awesome art style. I highly recommend this. And this is definitely my award for the, I've never heard of that comic book or graphic novel. Now I'm going to move out of kind of this traditional hero things and into a work of nonfiction. So favorite graphic novel for something that is nonfiction, so it's a true life kind of story. And I think really, let's be honest, really only one I think that really deserves this category or this win. And that is Moose by Art Spiegelman. For those of you not familiar with it, it's a story of his relationship with his father who had survived the Holocaust. So you get both the story of him and his father today, which is fascinating, and also how his father went through the whole Holocaust, which in and of itself is a very interesting story. But the art is all done as animals. So the mice are the Jews, and the Nazis are the cats, and there's I think the Americans are dogs. It's very interesting how it plays with that was used at that time, because the both sides kind of dehumanized each other, called each other animals or spiders or rats or whatever. All done black and white too. Very good. I mean, I believe this thing won this Pulitzer or something. I can't remember now, but highly, highly recommended. Whether you like graphic novels, whether you like history, whether you like biography, whatever, this is definitely a must. And my favorite graphic novel for the non-fiction category. We're almost done here. I'm like flying through these. My favorite graphic novel, or graphic novel collection in this case, for the fiction category is back to Neil Gaiman. You can see there's a pattern here for the Sandman series. This is volume 1 of like a million volumes. Plus there's like other supplements he's done, and he's doing a series recently. In fact, I like Sandman so much, if you kind of look just the corner there, you can actually see like Dream and Destiny, and Death is also there as well. So I'm a huge fan of this series. By far my favorite non-fiction work. Highly award-winning as well. Essentially, it follows the Endless, who are kind of personifications of human emotions, I guess, or human experience. So dream, death, destiny, desire, destruction, despair. Follows them throughout history, throughout time. You get interesting things of different pantheons of gods and Shakespeare and all these things get tied into it. Very interesting art style. It is a massive read. Takes a while, but it is so worth it. And it is definitely my award for the best fiction graphic novel. All right, to wrap up the show, I want to give an award to my overall best. If you only ever read one graphic novel in your life, this is the one you got to read. And I'm going back to one that's already won an award, and that is, and you can probably guess what it is, but I think most people have put this novel in that position, and that is Back to Watchmen by Alan Moore and David Gibbons as the art. I mean, in some ways it defined the graphic novel genre in the 80s. It was always that unfilmable movie. So much history tied in, and politics, and saying stuff about America, and the art style, and everything. It is by far the best graphic novel that you will ever read, and is definitely my award for the best graphic novel. Although I will warn you that this, as well as something like Sandman, some of these may not be appropriate for children. So don't go to giving it to your 7-year-old and say, hey, read this. Yeah, adult only. All right. For next week, I will be doing a blog on tips on family history. I am a longtime museum employee, worked in the museum field for a number of years. And I'm just going to give you a few tips on how you can preserve like family photos, family documents, that sort of things, really simply, really easily, and help you keep your family history alive. All right, well, until I see you next week, go read a graphic novel.